we go. Here we go. Oh, what a mess. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Forgive me for my idiotic entrance tonight. The computer that I normally do it on had no power. So I'm actually doing this one directly on my phone. Anyway, nonetheless, as long as you guys are here, let me have a look and see who's in. Oh my gosh, quite a few of you. Let's have a look. Oh my gosh, loads of you. Right, Julia Evans, good evening. Lynn, welcome. Good evening. Dawn, good evening, sweetheart. Denise, welcome. I'm just getting here. Everybody's chatting away. Who else we got? Elizabeth, welcome to the show. John Smith, welcome to the show. Denise, welcome to the show. Julia Evans, welcome to the show. Maria Magdalena Nolan, welcome to the show. I'm so happy that you guys are all here tonight. Thank you very much for being here, and welcome to the Reach Across show with Paul Francis. Now, those of you who don't know, those of you who are new to the show, thank you very much for being here. Really appreciate you. I am an international psychic medium. What's an international psychic medium? An international psychic medium is nothing more than a name. Okay. Why? I just got used to doing it. That's really because I ended up doing a lot of work globally. I ended up doing a lot of work in the United States, Australia, Europe, Ireland, the UK, of course. So I suppose internationally is that way. My books are sell internationally, and so, but to me, it's nothing more than words. Okay, what's more important to me is being able to talk with you guys, answer questions, give a little bit of encouragement, a bit of light to the to be able to enlighten people, make people's lives that much easier. Why did I become a psychic medium? I didn't. I didn't go out and become a psychic medium. It was chosen for me. I was working with spirit, not knowing. Let's not talk BS here, okay? I didn't know I was talking with spirit. As far as I was concerned, the person was in the room with me, and it was a person. And I didn't go, "Oh, by the way, are you a ghost?" and try and poke him. He was there, and he put his hand on my head, and he patted my head, and he spoke to me. And I just remember his voice being really gentle and very, very sort of acknowledging and sweet and encouraging and things of that nature. And as far as I was concerned, he was there because he patted me on the head. But it turned out that my family basically was saying, I'm talking to fresh air. I saw the guy, he was talking to me. My grandmother showed me pictures some weeks afterwards, and I said in the pictures, that's him, that's the guy I was talking to. And she said, no, yeah, that's not who you were. And I said, look, that's the man I was talking to. And she said, son, that's your great great uncle, Uncle Hugh, who passed away 20 years before you were born. So there's no way you could have been talking to him. I was talking to him. Um, my books are telling you the story of how that's gone through and how I nearly became a priest. Because in Ireland, the whole concept of becoming a psychic medium wasn't on the cards. It was more along the lines of, no, what's happening with you is the calling, and the calling was leading down to the priesthood. But I've got a new book coming out called Walking with the Light, and it kind of goes into all of that and what people will have sort of felt. And maybe, the reason I kind of wrote it, or the reason I was kind of led to write it, was that maybe other people who are going through the same thing may well be brought towards that feeling, that light, that energy, that comfort, that sense of belonging, which is really, really good. Anyway, so after 35 years, I am here still doing what I love. Okay. Um, my, shall we call, normal life, if you want to call it that, again, words, labels, I don't care. It makes me happy too, because I get the opportunity to work directly with my family, my daughters, Maya and Faith. And April, our daughter April, has been down as well, and they're all working away in the business, and it's happy. So it's something that was born out of, well, shall we just do it? And what it has created is a sensation of happiness and a kind of a link to everybody being able to talk to each other, everyone being able to communicate with each other. What do I say every single week in, week out? Communicate, appreciate, and validate everybody in your life, so a medium never has to do it for you. I say that in, week out. So in working together in this business, in this um, motivationally happy guided thing, it has brought down so many barriers. We're able to communicate much easier. Well, teenagers and parents never communicate, but on this occasion, we're able to do that, and everybody's understanding the direction, and the kids are understanding that this is a leg up for them to get on in life, without the concept of a handout, sort of, so to speak. Not that I think handouts shouldn't happen. Of course, they should happen. What the Egyptian teaches, the Egyptian people taught us, you can't take it with you, okay? Because some idiot's going to dig it up in 1,000 years and go, "Oh, I found this, and that belongs to us." So you're best giving your family and friends that lift, be it physically, mentally, spiritually, or sometimes it has to be monetarily. But there we go. I'm not monetarily driven. Otherwise, my prices would be ridiculous. But anyway, nonetheless, welcome here tonight. It's great to see all of you all. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe. Subscribe to the channel, free of charge. And don't forget to hit the notification bell, because that will tell you when there are new shows on. However, I am literally just about to do some seminars. Now, if you have come and joined me at this time, it is a very fortunate time for you to join me, because the first seminar I'm about to do is free of charge, okay? The date will be given at the end of this week. I have to get some dates finalized on next week, but I'm aiming for a midweek session. So the best thing to do is be on, basically on guard as to when I'm going to release these dates. Now, the first session, be you already a working medium or a working psychic, it will still do you good, because you'll be able to let somebody else take the reins for a few hours and take you in a direction, and be able to help you in where normally you're kind of running out front. It's nice every now and again for somebody else to take that take that point and give you a break. So if you are a working psychic medium, this will work for you as well. The first seminar I'm going to be doing is to meet your guide and take you to a sacred place. And I will take you you'll be doing things that basically you won't have done before. I promise you that. So contact me on Messenger on Facebook and ask me about that. Email me on paul@paulfrancis111.com. Let me just see if I can get a banner for you. I'm sorry I put my hand over the camera tonight, but let me just get this up. There you go. The camera is on my mobile phone tonight, so it is back to front. So I do apologize for that. But anyway, nonetheless, get back in the comments. There we go. I'm not sure what this is. It's telling me to share the link. So please, 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 there's that link. That's the link for the show. Please do share it with your friends and family. And how my show works, well, it basically works on behalf of you. I have got energies built up around me. I have got cards here, ready to use. But what I need is people to ask me questions, because at the end of the day, you'll be the ones who will be connecting with your energies. They just use me as an in-between, a mediator, hence the name medium, right? Now, for some unknown reason, I have a weird thing telling me to share the link, which is blocking some of the messages that I can't actually see. So I'm going to have to. I can just see what Dawn has said. Dawn has said what's been happening, but I can't see what else. Literally, can you see the line "what's been happening"? And it's blocked by something saying "share your referral link." Which I clicked on the top there. So if you click on that link and send it out to your friends and family, get them to come along and be a part of this show. Don't forget, it's really important. It's very, very important that you like the show. Please, please, please make sure you hit that like button and make sure you share the show with your friends and your family. Now, in relation to spiritual guidance, I've had a lot of readings lately, and the readings have been uniquely connected. And what I mean by that, well, a lot of the messages coming through the readings have been all almost similar. Okay, and that similarity is really about letting you know that they're around you. And the similarity was really messages of, listen, I understand what you've done for me. I understand and I get it, but don't forget to live your life. Okay. So what do they mean by that? It means like they understand that you've committed time and energy to acknowledging their presence and their crossing. Okay, but a lot of people stay focused on the crossing instead of acknowledging the fact that they're still connected to us. So a lot of the readings that I've done recently have been very, very intense on saying, yes, I'm connected to you. Yes, I'm here. And here's some information to share with you exactly why and where and how I'm connected to you. But don't forget to live. Get on with living. That's important. It's what's been happening. Anyone else? Anybody done anything nice they'd like to share? Well, or rather, they just ask me questions about this show, Dawn, so I can answer them. Good evening, Jenna. Welcome to the show. Nice to see you here. So the questions that I'd like really is more along the lines of what I would refer to as the process. You know, what happens on the other, you know, what happens if people die, or is there any ways that, you know, whatever your questions are, but really connected to the subject matter. Therefore, I can then help you. And in asking questions, by the way, it does help me to connect in with your energy, because they're connected to you. That energy then links up with me, and then off we go. So if you've got any questions along that line, by all means, put them to me. And then we can get on with the show. Now, on another matter, while Dawn's on the line, I will be doing I actually mean we will be doing an event at our inn. Now, our inn was built in the 16th century. If you're in the Southwest, I'm going to allow just four people to come along on the show, on the actual event. We're going to be doing an event at our I don't like to use the word pub because it's an inn. Why is it? What's the difference between a pub and an inn? Well, an inn was a place that people stopped at, stayed over, and had their horses, refreshed, and think of inns. And then coaches and horses stopping off and eating and drinking and getting rested before they'd move on to the next destination. So our inn was built in the 16th century. So you can imagine what kind of history that inn has seen. And we are basically going to be doing a paranormal investigation in that inn this coming Monday night. Right, let me just bring it back so I can read the very first question. Denise has asked me, I've been praying and asking my dad to help me. Went to my car and there were all these pennies at the car door. I know my dad heard me. Fantastic. I'm going to say to you, Denise, that it's not your dad that's around you at the moment. It's an uncle or somebody connected to your dad that's around you at the minute. There's a birthday or an anniversary coming up in July, or the 7th of a month that they want me to acknowledge. But there's a big birthday or a big anniversary, something big that they want me to draw my attention to. Usually when I get this energy, it means like somebody's 60th, somebody's 70th, 80th, or the golden wedding anniversary, or something that has substance to it, or something big to it. But they're trying to draw my attention to that. Now, as much as you are acknowledging those who have crossed over, Denise, they're also telling me that you are spending too much time in connecting to them and not connecting here. Okay. Again, one of the reasons, one of the sort of show, the reasons one of the things I wanted to talk about tonight was don't forget to live. And you've really knocked it right on the head there. So there's a more of, you will honor them, my darling Denise. You will honor dad. You will honor mom. You will honor grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, friends who have all crossed over. You will honor them by getting on and being the best you can be here and now. You're too focused on what's going to go wrong and not focused enough on what's actually going right. Okay. So if I can sort of say, the way I'm hearing it, the way they're making me feel is you're taking all of this cough medicine and you're taking all of these cold and flu pills in case you get a cold and flu. But you haven't got a cold and flu, and you don't need cough medicine. So it's a more of acknowledging the fact that they're connected to you and they're willing your life into how you want it to be, but you're not getting on with it. That's the feeling they're making me. I'm hearing two names being shouted at the moment, Denise. When I'm hearing names, it means who they are, who they're with, or please say hi to. So I'm hearing the name Thomas being shouted and a name like Joseph being shouted, okay? So whether they're two separate people or the name, Thomas Joseph, Joe Thomas, I don't know. But that I'm hearing those two names being shouted as I'm speaking to you. So the name Thomas is very, very commanding, very sort of patriarchal. So it'd be like the head of the family or the grandfather, that kind of feel, very patriarchal. And Thomas feels to me like a cousin, or and sort of outer rim feel here. They want me to acknowledge. So Denise, it really, really, really is important that you focus on the fact that you are over a lot of the issues and not focus on the actual issues, if that makes sense. Hopefully that helps you out, my darling. I've just been told do a card. I literally heard the words do a card. So I'm going to take the cards out. Here they are right in front of me. So I will show you guys in advance. There they are. And I'm going to shuffle them in front of you so that you can see them. But Denise, trust me, you are a lot stronger and a lot better than you think. Okay? Focus on what's going right, my darling. Focus on all the great things you've done, on all of the fantastic things you've done for yourself and for your family, and for your family that has helped you as well. They want me to acknowledge the name. It sounds like Mary, but an "e's" in it. Maurice, like Mary's or Mary's. That's what I'm hearing. It's something. It sounds like Mary with an "e's" in it. So I can be off by names, but I won't be off by the initial of what it sounds like. They're telling me to acknowledge that name. Oh, this card has just jumped out. Right. The card just jumped out of the deck and I've just caught it. And the letters are saying communicate clearly. Okay. So in other words, your whatever you're trying to tell them isn't getting through. All right. Now you see the blue color there? That is the chakra for communication, throat chakra. Communicate clearly, my darling. Okay. And whatever is happening with love. That's the green around that aura as well. Could you please have some likes for Paul? Yes, please like the show. Julie Evans, heard this so much. How do the pennies manifest from spirit? They can manifest anything, literally. My teacher, the lady who taught me, she had a rose just literally drop out of nowhere. That she was inside a building in a room like this, and it just dropped, and it dropped on the couch beside her, just out of nothing. I saw a butterfly manifest out of nothing. There was no butterfly where I was sitting and working. And next thing, a butterfly, weirdly enough, at the time I was doing a read for a young lady. And I said to her, they want me to acknowledge the butterfly for some reason. And she had just had a butterfly tattoo done on her side here in honor of the person who'd crossed. And right as we said that, a butterfly flew out of the corner of the office right between the two of us and out the door. It didn't come in the door, and I would have seen it, before I'd sat down, because the walls were, they were wood, and I would have seen the butterfly, and it flew right between us. So they can manifest anything out of anywhere. It's very often that you will find coins. Coins are quite, they're quite regular. As each one of my children were born, I find a coin related to them. I kept them all as well, so interesting. Used to help ex run a pub in Salisbury and Romsey, Julia. Oh, cool. You know how hard work it is then. Yes, big party coming up. John Smith says, I'm grateful for my dad and for all that I have right now. Well done, John. Thank you for that. Being grateful is a great thing. Both had spirit. I felt someone stood next to me in one, but on the other side. All right, okay, I'll read that again because my dyslexia is kicking in here. Both had spirit. I felt. Both had a spirit. I felt. Felt someone stood next to me in one, but on that side of me, no one was there. Oh, wow. This is what the aura is, The auric field is something that everybody has, and you energize your auric field every single day, okay? As you're sleeping, you're energizing, your energy's coming back, rest. And your aura is made up of energy, which is coming from the chakras, it comes out, and it's made up of the chakra fields. And when people do auric photographs, you'll see the colors appearing in the auras. Now, as you're kind of standing there and you're in happy, your aura is big. So your energy, the spirit that come to talk to you, the spirits that come to be around you to let you know they're there, actually can use the energy within that aura to let you know, and that's where you feel something. And this is why people go in, like, for example, if they go in to look at a house or whatever, and they walk in and they feel, oh my gosh, this feels great. In my office, when I'm in my old house, I used to do a lot of work in there, and I used to do a lot of cleansing in that office. I used to do a lot of energy work in it, and I had cameras in that office as well. So when people come in, I would say to them, the camera is here for security. Security when I'm not here, but also equally security for both of us, so that everything's recorded. Should you want a copy of that recording, we can arrange that to make that happen, but is to prove that everything is happening legally and everything's happening safely between us. And most people were completely and utterly okay with that. I'd look back at the recordings, you'd see things move around the room while we were doing the read, but also you'd hear people coming in, because I wouldn't be there. I'd be usually getting ready to come and see them. And you'd people come in, they go, oh my God, it feels so lovely in here. Oh my God, the energy feels so great. So It's your auric field mixing with the energy of where you are and who's there. Alrighty. So when you are standing there, Julia, just close your eyes and just let your mind go and connect in with their energy. So you'll start getting impressions of who it is that's standing with you. It's really, really, it's great. And everybody can do it. This is some of the things that I don't understand. I don't understand why people say to me, why can't I do it? Why can't I do this? And then they'll use the words, oh, that made me feel, or this makes me feel, or he or she made me feel. Nobody makes you feel. You feel yourself. Your eyes and your emotional senses choose whatever feeling you want. And once you learn to let go of your automation and start working with what you really, really have, you'll start making much more, so many more connections. Okay. Julia, I'm going to do a card for you too, my darling. All right. Julia, I want to say either there's someone around you that was connected to the medical world, because I'm seeing a red cross, or they want me to acknowledge something happening with yourself or your family member that has a medical connection with it at the moment. Okay. I am seeing a stork at the minute, so there is a new member of the family. When I say the family, put you in the center and spread out a family. There's a new member of the family on way, en route, or they want me to acknowledge a new member of the family that has come in. I want to say there's a C or K name here as well, Julia, like a Catherine, Kieran, Kate, Kevin. There's a C or K sounding name, like a K sounding name they want me to acknowledge. They tell me to talk about the number 2. So either they want me to acknowledge February as being significant, or they want me to acknowledge the 2nd of a month as being significant, okay? Whatever this medical scenario is, they're telling me to say it should be taken serious, but it will work out okay. Okay. So they're telling me to say whatever this medical thing is, it should be taken serious. Any medical issues should always be dealt with by a fully qualified physician, not some idiot psychic telling you to take a spoonful of salt. All right. Don't ever do that. Okay. Oh, take a spoonful of salt. No, don't. You take a spoonful of salt, it'll destroy you. Okay, especially if you got high blood pressure. Never listen to a psychic. Never take medical advice of a psychic. Go directly to a doctor or a qualified medical person. And never listen to moronic psychics telling you what they think and feel. It's their interpretation of what they think and feel. And one certain psychic was telling people to take a spoonful of salt. And clearly somebody who didn't study science and acid. Anyway, enough of that. Julia, let's have a look at this. Yeah, I keep getting this red cross. So there's a red cross connection they want me to acknowledge. To me, my referencing, it means a connection to the medical world, or there's a medical thing going on around you they want to acknowledge. They're telling me to tell you that the trip, whatever the trip is, and it doesn't feel to me like a long trip. It doesn't mean, I don't feel like you're going away for 2-3 weeks. It feels like maybe even 2 or 3 days. I don't know. But they're telling me the trip you need to take. You need to take the trip. Okay. So whether it's going home to visit somebody or going to visit a friend or a relative, whatever that case that is, and you're going away for a day or 2, you need to take the trip. Alrighty. I have an older lady coming in on mom's side of the family. So this is either a grandmother or an aunt coming in on mom's side of the family who's telling me to tell you to do the baking again or to make the biscuits, whatever that means. I'm just, hey, not my information. I'm just going to deliver it. She said, do the baking, make the biscuits, whatever that means. Okay. So whatever you're asking, Julia, whatever you're asking them, the answer is within the next few months. Okay. And if you look at that card, if I bring it right up close to the camera, you'll see that it all comes through the light and with golden light, meaning it's protected. Okay. So it is protected, whatever it is that you're trying to get, or the goal that you guys are trying to get to, it's protected and it's going to happen. And it's going to happen within the next few months. All right. Hopefully that helps you, my darling. Denise has said, very true. Thank you very much, Denise. when we first looked over it, I sensed something in the cellar. Gotcha. I heard after past chef had hung himself in there. Okay. Well, okay. See, a lot of people on a lot of these idiotic shall we say ghost shows will say, "Oh my god, somebody hung themselves down there, so therefore it's going to be evil." No, total crap. All right. Whatever the action that caused that poor chap to take his life, right? Whatever that action it was, he did it in the cellar because he wanted to be away from everybody else. Okay, let's think of that. So he wanted somewhere private. Secondly of all, the action itself will have created energy. The cellar, being most cellars are made of stone, so that cellar will have actually held on to the energy, and therefore anybody going down there will react to that energy. So it is possible to clear that energy, and don't think for 1 second like that other moron that goes around Ian something or other tattooed to the eyeballs and has a cross tattooed inside of his head, what makes him holy, my arse. Oh yeah, what does he call himself? A ordained exorcist, something that doesn't actually exist. Okay, but he thinks that he can just open doors to heaven like that, and he can just clear things with a thought. Crap. Especially something that happened where somebody had taken their life. There's a lot of energy down there, but that energy can be, if you want to call it, put to rest. It can be done. The person who has crossed himself over will have been met by his friends and family on the other side, so he will then instantaneously be met with peace. Okay, so he's not going to want to leave anger behind. He's not going to want to leave anybody come down to the cellar just picking up total anger, because his anxiety or his disbelief in himself or whatever it is that took him to the point where he had to take himself to the other side of life. It could have been a medical thing that got done it. Nobody knows. Only he himself will know that. But that energy can be, if you want to call it, laid to rest. Okay, it can be cleared and can be brought back to a place of peace if you want that to happen. And don't let anybody else tell you different. Okay. All righty. That's actually poor man. Paul, or sorry, John says, how do you identify that a spirit has come through for a particular person in the chat? Oh, good question, John. Basically what happens is as I'm going through, I like, for example, I'm reading your name, John Smith, okay, and I'm looking at the J on the left, okay. As I'm looking at that, if I'm reading that energy, if I'm looking at those words, those names, how do you identify that a spirit has come through for a particular person? An energy will feel like it's surrounding me. Okay, I'll feel like I'm in a little bit of a whirlwind, but a gentle whirlwind, so to speak. And then I'll start getting information coming in. But as I try to go past, if I go to say, for example, the person above you or the person below you, they'll pull me back up again, and that's how I know I'm with that particular person. However, I very often get what's called a me too. Now, what's that? You say, well, a me too means even though I may be bringing information through for a particular person, it could also relate to somebody else in the group. Okay. So when I'm doing this in theaters, for an example, I'll be standing on the stage and I might be looking up to the left-hand side of the theater and doing a read for somebody up on the left. I will actually see in my mind's eye a line going right across the reason I'm saying this, you can actually see me doing it on YouTube, where I'm in a big theater, you know, big purple and pink lights around me, and I'm looking up like that, and you see me do that. I'm looking down to the right, and I'm literally seeing a line going straight across. And I say to the person in the bottom right, "You can take this information as well, right?" And they're going, "Yeah," because I'm saying there's a me too. Now, what does that mean? It means the person who's talking to me has also connected to, say, for example, your family, and they're going to say, right, say these things because it'll affect that person, but it'll also affect him. Okay, and that's what I refer to as a me too. Okay, John, I will say this. There's a feeling of, no, I get that they make me feel. So that's the psychic side of what I do. When you hear me saying they're saying this, that is a medium connection or a spiritual connection. So at the moment they're making me feel, okay, but I'm feeling like I'm stuck. I've got this feeling like I'm stuck in, like my feet are made of cement and I can barely make them walk. Like I'm walking through mud with boots on. They're making me feel like that, which is giving me an impression that you're kind of like you're kind of like can't get motivated. You can't get moving forward. Now, there's either you've been given an opportunity to move or an opportunity to change. That opportunity has been sent to you for a reason. I'm seeing really, really old school carpentry tools here. So I don't know whether the person that's connecting with me wants me to say who he is, because he's showing me old school carpentry tools. And what do I say about that? I do really mean old school carpentry tools. I'm seeing like set squares, and I'm seeing like scribes, and I'm seeing unique sort of shaped saws and mallets and stuff like that. Near old school carpentry, not today's power tools, right? I'm getting drawn to a gentleman, but on the left hand side of your family. So that means to me, mom's side of the family, when I'm being pulled to the left, it represents mom, obviously the opposite right being dad, but I'm being pulled to the left and turning right and going up. So that means to me, that would relate to either an uncle or a grandfather on your mother's side who wants me to acknowledge these tools. I feel what I would call light engineering there. So he would have been known to maybe being like a handyman, or you've been known to be able to repair cars, but not being a professional mechanic, kind of speak, so to speak. But I'm being pulled onto that side of the family. There's a strong A name they want me to acknowledge, like Arthur, Andrew, Alice. There's a strong A name they want me to acknowledge. And either they're telling me two people crossed with cancer, or they want me to acknowledge two cancers. So if someone had like a cancer of the chest and a cancer of the leg, that would be two cancers. Or they want me to acknowledge two people with cancer on the other side of life. One of these people wasn't what you would call old. So I would say late 20s to late 20s to late 30s, in that frame. Okay. They're shouting the name Pete or Peter in the background. They're showing me a picture of my brother and my grandfather to acknowledge the name. But usually when they show me a rank, i.e. brother or grandfather, they want me to talk about the rank, i.e. could be a granddad or a brother-in-law. Okay, but that would be on the same level as you, and this feels above you. So I'm going to go with the grandfather or that level on your family tree to be spoken about. John, there is a change coming up around you. It's being brought to you, and this is either the second or third time around. Okay, but this will be the last time it's going to present itself. Okay, so the opportunity is there for you to take. It is going to open more doors for you. But there's something, maybe that's why I'm feeling kind of stuck in my ways. That's kind of what they want me to acknowledge. I don't know who is acknowledged speaking with me, John. I do feel it's on mom's side of the family, but they want me to acknowledge the equestrian connection. So somebody was connected to horses in some way in that side of the family as well. I'm seeing horses and ponies, and not in a professional way. So this is somebody that would it would have been a hobby, or it had been a pastime or something along those lines, or was connected to equestrianism in some way, like they might have worked at a stables. I don't know, but there's a connection to equestrianism that's they want me to acknowledge. Hey, only you will know what I'm about to say. You never know till you ask. Okay, you never know until you try, but it's up to you. If I say, and they show me one of my things that I use on a regular basis. If it's to be, it's up to me. If it's to be, if it's something I want to happen, then it's up to me to make it happen. It's not up for other people to make it happen. And spirit will never live your life for you. That's your job, unfortunately. So you do have to get on and make it happen for yourself. Right. No, oh yeah. Okay. I was going to go past you there, and I was quickly going, no, card. All right. Okay, so let's go. Give some Johnson guidance. Okay. I don't know why they're saying there's something about the name or name change. Alrighty. Whatever the name or name change is, they're telling me to acknowledge it. Okay. Let's get it. Oh, okay. All right. That one. All right. Gotcha. All right. John, out of all of these cards, let me just show you. This one came up in the middle like that. Sorry, I missed the camera there. Don't stop. Okay. Keep going. Keep keep going on with your trials and tribulations. Keep pushing because it's going to happen for you. Okay. Don't stop. All righty. Right. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to press one of these. He says, I'm going to press one of these, and then I'm going to be coming back with you very, very shortly. Okay. I'm just messing this whole thing up tonight, aren't I? So I'll be back with you in 40 seconds. Right. Is that Mexican Crystal Caves, Elizabeth? Obviously, I jumped in at the wrong time. Paul Rowland, I see, is in the house. Paul, welcome to the show. I'm looking forward to seeing you when you're down, buddy. Let me know when you're down, and definitely we'll come round to the pub and we'll have a good old chat, maybe even another little paranormal investigation. Philip, is it Tahoe? I don't want to get your second name wrong, and I don't want to be get I don't want to sort of like make you feel like that guy's an idiot. The amount of people who can't pronounce my name right is just unbelievable. But welcome to the show nonetheless. Right, go on ahead. Sounds interesting. Okay. So I don't know what. Obviously, I've missed a big chunk of information while I was doing a read here. I've seen them in meditation once. Saw a wall behind me disappear, and saw them behind me. So obviously, there's a conversation here that I'm not being made a party to. Yes, baby coming in September, not me. Okay, well they're just acknowledging the baby. I'm on the list for hip replacement, so that's the don't mess about, get on with the medical thing. Gotcha. I used to do hand and arm shoulder massage via the Red Cross. That'll be why they're showing that to me. Then don't be like, wow, what the hell? Something with that is coming back. Okay. Yes, agree. The trip is going to your son in Lancaster in the holidays. Yes, make sure that happens. My nan had a great cook, and I used to make a lot of biscuits. Go back to making the biscuits. All right. So, and that must be direct, direct. Get it done, girl. Do you know what I mean? That kind of thing. Okay, but I'm glad it's all coming through. Totally makes sense. I'm so happy. No, it wasn't evil. Ian Lawman, yeah, that's an idiot. Today is the day my dad passed away. Got you, John. All right. Well, your dad will definitely be around you because on this specific day, but it's important to understand that he isn't around just because it's today. Okay. Now, what I do is I don't do anything on the anniversary of my dad's crossing. I literally take the day off and I sort of dedicate something to him. Okay, so I kind of go and do something. So it might be interesting, John, if you were to say, if your dad was into roses, for example, okay, then go and do plant some roses somewhere in his memory and watch something amazing grow as a great memorial to him. With me, it's connections. Oddly enough, is connections to cars. You can tell the spirits around me because my nose is itchy. Oddly enough, to me, it's cars. My dad was a big car man. He's directly connected to the DeLorean. So I do something that involves that, but it's as a memorial to him, so to speak. But wishing you all the love and all the strength on a day like today, John. I know exactly what you're going through. Phil says he's watching. Phil, welcome to the show. Paul Freed. Hi, Paul. Anything on Dad? Name Gary from PA. Okay, Paul. Well, first and foremost, thank you for being here. If this is your first time here, then welcome. Please make sure that you guys subscribe to the show. Hit the like button, subscribe to the show, and share the show with your friends and family. And while you're subscribing, hit the notification bell. Basically, will tell you when I'm back on again. Now, I don't know, Paul. I'm talking to Paul Freed here. I don't know, Paul, if you are if how well you know the world of the psychic, world of the mediums. As much as I will definitely put out the energy connected to your dad, I will be open to him coming through, but I can't demand that he comes through, and I can't just go and say to the spirit, all right, go and get Gary for me. It kind of doesn't work that way. I will be open to him coming through. I wouldn't hold back, and I wouldn't lie. I will not try and make up that I'm making a connection for you. If I don't get a connection for you, I have the strength and honesty to say, Gary, I'm sorry, Paul, I'm not making that connection that you might want, but I will be open to him coming through from you. All right, well, there's an energy hovering around me, and it's not. If I'm with you, Paul, then there's something about Florida that's coming up. But it also sounds like a holy thing, like a Pentecostal or something like that. It sounds like Pentecostal. I don't know what that means, but I'm seeing Florida. I'm not going to miss Florida. It's one of my favorite places. There's a Florida connection here. If I'm with you, Paul, please do let me know. Hi to all, says Paul Friedman. John Smith, grandfather's mum's side, yes. Genesis, my hands are tingling. Love that. I love that when that happens. Hi, Paul. Will my manifesting come true this summer? I've been getting signs. Thank you, says Doug. Doug, first of all, welcome to the show. Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. If you'd be so kind, please like the show, hit that like button. But more importantly, to help me, please subscribe to the show. It's all free of charge. Subscribe to the show and hit the little manifestation bell. Manifestation bell. What an idiot. And that's because I'm reading manifestation. Hit the notification bell, and they'll let you know when I'm coming back on. Right. Here's the thing, Doug. I'm being told to tell you that nothing that you nothing. What? Why you said nothing? Okay, nothing. They're going nothing, and they're stopping like that. Okay. However, I'm going to take over here, and while that energy reconnects. Okay, your manifestation is you. Okay, got it. Your manifestation is all true and firm. However, it's you that's stopping it. Okay. That's right. Okay, when you say that, so it's you that's stopping it. So in your back of your head, you're doing all the manifestation. You're kind of right. Okay, the feeling I'm getting, and please, Doug, please be honest with me, because they're making me feel nothing ventured, nothing gained, and that's kind of like what I would put under the concept of try, and I don't like try. Okay, either do or don't do. That's what I was taught, and that's how manifestation works. If you try, it's just going to take a huge amount of time longer than you would possibly imagine. So, what you need to be doing is handing it over, the manifestation, handing it over to the universal energies or to the angelic energies, or both, and know absolutely that it's going to come true. But what they're telling me is, Doug, is that you're going, yeah, I want X, Y, and Z. No, I hope I get it. And so that's the try concept. You're not really your own mind and your own negative thoughts are stopping it. Okay, so get your manifestation directly in your head, but they're telling me as well you haven't been specific. Oh, I'd like it sometime in the summertime. That's a big, long time. If you want to be really specific, Doug, then say, I want this by this date, and absolutely believe it. And don't let any measure of doubt be in there at all, because it's the doubt that creates the speed bumps in getting to your eventual goal. Now, all that being said, Doug, they're telling me to talk about a female anniversary in and around now. Okay, so I have a lady in spirit who's telling me to talk about birthday and anniversary in and around now. They're showing me diamonds, so that means they want me to acknowledge either somebody's 50th, 60th, or let's put it this way, significant date. That's what that means to me. So a significant date is somebody's 16th, 18th, 21st, 25th, 30th, 40th, 50th, 60th, so on and so forth, like that. A date like the 26th birthday, the 29th, or the 33rd, that's not a significant date. A 16th, an 18th, 21st, 25th, 30th, 40th, 50th, 60th. So when I see diamonds, it represents a significant date. Now, I will always share with you exactly what that means to me, but if diamonds mean something completely different to you, then you are correct. I am quite happy to be wrong, okay? I will never force feed you the information. I deliver it. John Edwards said, Paul, be the mailman, deliver the mail, okay? Don't read it. That's what John Edwards said. So the best thing to do is open your mind to the concept that what it is you're manifesting is definitely going to happen. Not, yeah, it'd be nice if that happened, because that's just too watered down. Be absolute about what it is, but be absolute about the dates when you're going to be doing it and when you want it by. Okay, and then do not give any negative thoughts to that. However, they're telling me that you don't have specifics that what it is that you want. You kind of like the idea of what you want, but not bang, bang, bang. Okay. Right. The lady who's coming through to me is telling me she crossed over with an illness that would normally be related to a gentleman, so like a heart attack or something along those lines. But it's kind of like it kind of like normally would affect males in the family, but this lady has passed with that particular issue. She's telling me to talk about the leg as being an issue. So there was either blood clots or there was blood related problems with the muscular as well to be acknowledged, Doug. Doug, they're telling me to talk about a second chance here. Okay, so they want me to acknowledge the second chance, but they're showing me the green aura, which means to me it's an emotional center. Okay, so either the second chance of love or the second chance at love is something they want me to acknowledge as being on the cards. Be specific. That's all I'm hearing. Over. Be specific. You're not being specific. Was somebody in spirit a school teacher? Because they're showing me things connected to education here. Okay, Doug? If you can come back to me on that, I'd be really interested, because I'd like to finish this read off for you, sir. John said he knows a lady who's connected to the horses. That's that read. Gotcha. Hey, Jenna. Hey, Phil again. Pauline Hook. Hi, Pauline. Good to see you, darling. John, you are more than welcome. Noel Mayer, welcome to the show. Greetings from South Africa. Good to see you, Noel. Thanks. Thank you very much for being here. If you're your first time here, by the way, please don't forget to subscribe to the show, hit the like button, and share it with your friends and family. That's what YouTube keep asking me to do. Okay, Paul, I asked if anyone knows about the Crystal Stroke Glass Mountains. Gotcha. I've never heard of the Crystal Glass Mountains. I'm not going to lie. I listened to Dad's favorite music and TV show for his remembrance. Perfect, Jenna. Perfect. That's actually perfect, because that would have brought him joy, and so you'll mix in with that energy up. Spot on, Jenna. Spot on. Wendy Green, welcome to the show. Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Once again, if you guys are new, please subscribe to the show. It's all free of charge. Hit the notification bell so that you'll be told when there's another show coming on. If you are new to my show, and you are interested in development, learning about your own psychic ability, and every person on this planet, every single one, bar none, is psychic. Every human being is psychic. Okay, a lot of people like to stick on labels and go, "Oh, intuition or gut instinct or blah blah blah," but it's a psychic ability. And if you'd like to learn more about that psychic ability, then go across to my Patreon channel, sign up on that, and I'll be doing some seminars on actually how to join that. You can always email me on the email that's going across the bottom of the screens right now, and I will be putting across a link to my Patreon channel. I'll be doing a seminar, a free seminar next week. And so if you'd like to be a part of that particular seminar, then you need to subscribe to this channel and subscribe to my Patreon channel as well to be able to get onto that particular seminar. I just give you there's my Patreon channel coming across the bottom of the screens as we speak right now. Michelle, welcome to the show. San Diego, Super Dougie. Okay to ask for read. You basically, hey, number one, welcome to the show. Good to see you. How does it work? It's very simple. So, Dougie, this is how it works. It's actually you that does the read. I'm just the mouthpiece, the interlink, hence the name medium. Okay, so what it is, the best thing to do is how to get that energy working so that your family connect in and around you is to start getting involved with the energy itself. And the best way to do that is just to ask me questions rather than just say, is it okay to ask for a read? Of course it's okay to ask for a read. Whether you get one or not is a different kettle of fish. But the best thing to do is start asking about asking questions that builds up the energy. So what do you want to know about things? What about, what I would call the process from here getting to there, how the connections can make, things of that nature. Okay. Paul says he had a drinking probe. Gotcha. Okay. Right. Like I say, I'm using a different machine tonight. Normally I have a computer and cameras, but the computer ran out of power. And I'm having to do this on my cell phone tonight. So please apologize for my kind of like stupidity as I'm going on here. He had a sister in Florida. God, that's why I keep saying Florida. But why am I seeing Pentecostal or something, those names? There's something that sounds like that, Paul. Maybe you can kind of help me out there. But just hit the thumbs up, says Dougie. Thank you so much. Don't forget to share the show, bud. All righty. Wendy Green says, my first time here. Wendy, it's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you for being here. If you want to ask me a question, please feel free to do so. All I'd ask of you is just to hit the subscription button, all free of charge, no cost involved, and then the notification bell, and then share the show. But don't forget to like the show. That's really important. And that's because YouTube are basically, they sort of look at all of the channels that are being liked, and then they're allowing them to stay on. The channels that are not being liked are getting the big E. But Wendy, please feel free to ask questions. And as Dougie says, Super Doug says, how if you want to read, absolutely, because everybody wants to read. That's why you're here. Of course it is. But what is it you really want to know? And don't be frightened to ask. And don't think, for example, you're going to have the Mickey taken out of you. It'll not happen. Mom's on 10th of May, says Michelle. Noel says, I have a loved one that passed in January while in a coma. Do you think that person could hear me? Sorry to ask. Number one, never be sorry. Never be sorry. What an amazing question. First and foremost, you'll not be the only person. My mum was in a coma before she passed, but I continued to talk with her. I can guarantee you that anybody, the loved one that crossed over would be hearing you. Okay, right. this is a great teaching moment. And Noel, thank you very much for your question, because it's a brilliant teaching moment. The physical and the spiritual, the physical body and the soul or spirit are two separate entities. They're not one. Okay? They are two different things. Now, the way I sort of equate that is this: you are the driver of your car. Okay? Your car no longer functions when you get out of the car, right? So if you get out of the car and you switch it off, the car doesn't function. Think of it like that. So think of this being the car and the soul being the driver. Now, the soul has many, 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 many lifetimes, okay? But you do have some what I would refer new souls. You can always tell a new soul. They're extremely self-centered. They're very about them. It's not about anybody else's. It's I, me, I want this will happen for me. That's a very kind of a very indication, very good indication that that's a new soul. Now, in your case, the person that they're acknowledging was not a new soul. So that energy, or the energy of that person, was able to transit the physical. So you may have heard of things called NDEs, near-death experiences. It is similar to that. But when a person is approaching the end of their days, when they're getting to the point where they're about ready to go home, they are able to step outside the physical body. The physical body will still act like it's breathing, like it's connected, but they're actually able to step outside of it. They're able to transit that space. And it's within that where they start to learn about where they're able to go. Okay, friends and family who have crossed over will already be there, and they will be sort of acknowledging them and talking to them. And even, multiples of doctors and nurses have witnessed this happening, where you see people looking up and talking to fresh air, as far as the doctors are concerned. But what they're doing is they're communicating with energies who have come to collect them, or come to acknowledge them, or come to give them comfort. Okay, in a lot of the cases, there's a lot of cases where people have come in to give comfort to a person, and that person makes a recovery, and they've said, "You never believe this. I saw X, Y, and Z." My dear wife Johanna often talks about the time when she saw her aunts in the room when my wife had cancer of the brain, and she was very, very, very ill. But she told me that her aunts, and two aunts and somebody else, a cousin, I think it was, that came to her in the room and told her that she was going to be fine and everything was tickety-boo. And she's downstairs as we speak, literally. I know, because I can hear her. She is a Scouser, so that's not going to be difficult. Anyway, Noel, that person would definitely be able to hear you. I've said she because I'm thinking of my mother. That they're able to hear you, and they're able to retain the information. Okay. I'm also getting a thank you, but there's something to do with not roses, but another flower, but a thank you. So you either gave them permission to carry on and leave, okay? Because something about thank you and the permission and the ability to transit. They want me to say, whoever this person is, I'm getting a male and female standing side by side. So it is either mother and father or brother and sister, but they're connected. They're connected, but they want me to acknowledge that they're together. They're also actually telling me to talk about either the Gemini or the twin as being significant as well here. Never be sorry about asking, because if you don't ask, you'll never receive. So please be understanding. Okay. Somebody's got the wrong impression about how this works. So somebody has got the impression about everything that, for example, they'd be saying to me that you work for the devil, or you work for the devil. I might sound about that one, makes me laugh. But someone has the wrong impression about mediumship. Okay, they're telling me to talk about. Now, either the male or the dad figure or the father figure or the grandfather figure, but I've got an older male connecting to you, is telling me to talk about they did not believe in an afterlife. Okay, but they're also telling me to acknowledge a military connection as well. And either you have their name or they're telling me to talk about their namesake. Okay. They show me a for sale sign, Noel. So what that means to me, significant change. That's what that means, right? First and foremost is, okay, don't worry about the legals. That's what they're saying. Okay, they show me a symbolism that tells me, that talks about legals. They're telling me not to not worry about the legals. Don't worry about the legals. It'll all be fine. But they're telling me to say about the significant change. So there is a change of house, change of work, whatever this change is that's coming up around you. It is literally a right angle change, but it's bringing with it a huge amount of positive energy because it's now time to make the change, right? Hopefully that helps you out. Thank you for being here, Noel. I'd love to see you back more often. All righty then. Thank you, Elizabeth. Doug says, I have been seeing numbers and feathers. That's very often a connection. Well, the numbers, look at the numbers significantly, okay? And look at the numbers and equate them to something of your past, okay? But the feathers are what I would refer to as angelic calling cards. But when you get numbers and feathers together, that is definitely an angelic calling card, okay? Because you've heard of angel numbers and angel feathers. I see the cabbage white butterflies and robins. I don't know what a cabbage white butterfly is, but I understand a white butterfly and robins. Robins is a connection between myself and my parents in spirit. Right. That's where the teaching thing is, Dougie, that I mentioned. Gotcha. And that meant that did mean I was with you. All right, let's go on down. Yes, please listen to all of the people. If you haven't already hit the like button, please hit the like button. I don't ask for much in life. Hi, Wendy. Welcome to the show. Mary, it says my niece is a teacher. Gotcha. First of all, thank you for being here. I really appreciate that. We were not that close. It doesn't matter. Paul Freed. It doesn't matter whether you were close or not. Okay, that's another great teaching moment. Thank you very much for sharing that, Paul. Because my dad and I weren't close. My dad and I were like oil and water. We didn't seem to be able to be on the same page at the same time. However, that was all changed in the last weekend I managed to spend with him. And it turned out is the reason why we couldn't get on that well is because we're so alike. We were so alike. And that kind of caused conflict. But it doesn't matter. It didn't mean that he didn't love me. It didn't mean anything like that at all. It doesn't matter if you weren't close because the politics of this life do not translate to the other side. Okay, when we cross over to the other side of life, I like to say we take off our coat of inhibitions. So what we think was important, what we think, and when I say politics, I'm generally talking about family politics. Okay, not President of the United States or Prime Minister of the UK or the Taoiseach of Ireland, whatever. I'm not talking about that kind of politics. I'm talking about family politics, the head of the household, blah, 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 all that stuff. When they cross over to the other side of life, all of what you might deem as important is kind of left behind. Alrighty. What they take with them, the only thing that connects really that they take with them to the other side of life is the love that they had for friends and family here. Okay, that transits with them. Okay, all the other stuff doesn't transit. They don't care. And to be honest with you, hand over my heart, right here. They don't care how they cross. 99% of the time, they don't care. They're not interested. They're more interested in the fact that they're there, and more interested in the fact that they're still connected to you, and they're more interested in getting you to live your life. Because when the day comes that you go home and you are looking back on your life, it is best to sit back and look and go, yes, I did my best. So I always say, Paul, that if you want to honor those who've crossed, be the best you can be right here, right now. Okay. And so don't worry about not being close. That is no longer the case. Okay. Acknowledge, remember the good times. Wendy says, I've liked and subscribed, not sure what to ask. That's okay, Wendy. Just sit and enjoy the show until something comes into your head that you might want to ask about. You know, if you want to ask about somebody specific in spirit, that's okay. If you want to ask about how the transit is, whatever you want, my darling. There is no such thing as a stupid question. Remember that, okay? I might have heard that question 100 times, but I've never heard it from you. So it's more important that I'm able to answer whatever question you like, okay? And I really, honestly, I don't care what question it is, genuinely don't care. So you ask me whatever you want, my darling, and I will do my best to answer it for you. Anything that brings comfort to your heart, I'm there for you. See, that's one thing that I've learned through my journey is when the day comes that I do go home, when the day comes when I go upstairs, I always say, imagine, this is something for you guys to think about. Michelle says, how's your beautiful wife? She's healing slowly, but she's healing. That's more important. She's healing. Okay, she is getting there. This part of the road's quite rocky, but you know, I keep her focused on the fact that she's actually healing. And thank you very much for asking. Now, imagine that you are actually attending your own funeral, which is very likely, by the way, might add. I'm not talking about, oh, you actually, if you think about it, you will be there physically and spiritually. You think about it. So imagine you're attending your own funeral. Imagine what you want the people to say about you. Think about it. Actually think about it. What do you want the people to say about you? Then live your life with those principles. Okay. I learned that a long time ago at the beginning of my spiritual journey, and it's real and it's true. Wendy says, when I've had readings before, my granddad doesn't come through. What would this reason be? His wife does, who's my nan. Well, it's actually, what I say, Wendy, is, are you sure he didn't come through, or did you not just pick the reference up? Okay. If your grandmother comes through, it's because she probably has a more of a sort of a communicative connection to the person that you were talking to. Okay. Like, for example, say a cousin 4 times removed was in spirit and they were able to talk with me, you know, make that connection, then they would be the ones to come through, even though you want to hear from your granddad. There's another reason why it doesn't happen, is because sometimes when we hear from the person we are missing the most, that tends to put a brake on our life. Okay, what does that mean, Paul? Well, it can knock you backwards. It can actually go put a full stop. Now, people say to me, I wish I could speak directly to my mom, to my dad. You can. You can speak to whomever you wish. Okay? The trick is shutting up and listening to them returning, because they will return the call. Okay? So, by the way, I didn't mean that directly to you, Wendy. I was talking about metaphorically speaking. So, if you want to hear from anybody in specifically, like a mom, a dad, a granddad, a grandmother, remember, then say to them, hey, I really, really want to hear from you. But the amount of times I've had people say to me, I really would love to just have that moment with my mom, if she could just turn up so I could see her and I could have that one more minute. Well, two things come out of that. Number one is, why did you waste the time you had here? Right. So that's the thing that's another reason why I do this job, is don't waste that time. Tell them right now, communicate, appreciate, and validate. So tell them now how much they're important to you. Tell everybody who's in your life who is important to you just how much they're important to you. Okay. And every opportunity you get that, so they know. So when the time comes for them to go home, there's nothing unsettled. Okay. But if they were to appear in front of you, literally, physically, the likelihood of you passing out, very high, very high. Okay. No, and by the way, I'm talking about, I'm talking from experience, right? When my mom passed, I was already a well-established psychic medium. I was working with people like Derek Akora. I was working with people like Colin Fry, Tony Stockwell, people of that stature, John Edward. So I was already working quite high up. But when my mom passed, couldn't deal with it. Just could not deal with it. And my mom made 3 attempts to talk to me. 3. Okay. The first 2, on each occasion when she made the attempt to get through to me, I sat on the edge of the bed and cried like a baby. Couldn't handle it. Could not deal with it. Okay. On the 3rd occasion, she did it in a really roundabout way. Okay. My brother, Peter, who is about as spiritual as a brick. Okay. What happened was she came to me. Basically, I was in a dream. And when she was in hospital, she had cancer and she was dying. They basically had to keep her highly medicated so the pain wouldn't be her last memories. So whilst they were, changing her, bathing her, we would all go down to the canteen to have food. So in the dream, we were all sitting in the canteen and we're having food as normal. And everybody's chatting and talking about each other. And I looked over and I could see my mother walking across. And I was like, oh, wow. And as I got up and I went over to her and I looked at her and her right arm was missing. So basically, she was standing under her left hand and her right arm was missing. I went, Mom, what happened to your arm? And she said, well, it was either keep the arm and die or lose the arm and be okay. So I choose to lose the arm. And now this happened 20 years ago, okay? So, and I'm remembering this specifically. So this was a visitation. This was not a dream, okay? So her words were, I needed to, lose the arm, okay? And I said, all right, okay, so you can go home? She goes, yeah. I said, you can come home now. And she said, yeah. I said, shall I go and get the car? She went, yeah, go and get the car. So I got up and I walked off. And as I walked off, I come out of the dream. Right, I came right out of the dream, and I for a moment I was like, "Oh God, it's happened again," and I initially kind of felt sad, obviously, that I realized that it had been a dream or a visitation, as I would refer to it as, until about a week and a half later, when I met Peter and I told him about the experience, and he went. Now, bearing in mind he is about as spiritual as a brick, he went, "Oh yeah." Like that. And I said, what do you mean? Oh, yeah. Again, brothers, how brothers communicate. You can't communicate at a level which you'd be expected. No, what do you mean? Oh, yeah. You went, well, that was Mom's favorite thing. And I said, what are you talking about? Now, bearing in mind, I was a professional psychic medium with a lot of years under my belt and should have seen this, but it didn't because I was too close to it. But here's what it was. My mom's favorite thing was to say, oh, my God, I'd give my right arm for that. And I didn't register that. But here's the thing. She went through him as the messenger. She used him as the messenger to say, normally I don't deal with any of this rubbish. That's what his concept is. That's his prerogative. I would never, ever try and convince somebody that there's another life. That's up to him. I'm not here to do that. But he said to me, oh, yeah, Mum would always say that. I'd give my right arm for that. And I went, click. Oh, my God. She was telling me I would give my right arm to be with you. Okay, I would love to still be here. However, I'm okay and everything's taken poo. And from that date forward, I was able to deal with it. So because your granddad doesn't necessarily come through to speak to you on a verbal communication directly, Wendy, does not mean he's not there. Look out for connections of how he's there, okay, and how he's making connections to you. There's something about smoke that I'm picking up around you, Wendy, okay, and it smells to me like pipe tobacco, not cigarette smoke. I'm smelling type because it's more, unless I'm getting this completely wrong. The smell of the smoke I'm getting is quite sweet, okay, which leads me. My grandfather, oddly enough, he had his week tobacco. In other words, he used from Monday to Friday, and then his weekend or his Sunday tobacco, which was kind of a sweet smell to it. And I'm smelling that. So whether or not he's trying to acknowledge his being around you as with a sweet smelling tobacco-y, smoky smell, I'm trying to talk about. He wants to talk about that. I don't know who crosses over with either the chest infection or heart failure, but I'm getting a pressure right across the, like a band of pressure right across the middle of my chest. Okay, so this is either pleurisy or pneumonia or a chest infection or like. No, I'm going to stick with what I'm saying. Pleurisy, pneumonia, chest infection, and ultimately the weakening of the body subsequently shuts down the heart. There's something about that I'm being told to talk about, Wendy, if that's with you, my darling. Um, whatever you're dealing with at the minute, which has a little bit of sort of, shall we say, conflict, okay, or a difference of opinions, just stick to your belief, stick to your thoughts, okay. Don't give in because you are valid, whatever that means, okay. But thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Elizabeth says, I love the car analogy. Well, if you think about it, it really is that, the soul gets out of the car when the car can no longer work. Same thing. Wow, you're having thunder lightning. My wife loves that. Okay. She absolutely loves that. So she would be thinking, you lucky kid. Um, okay. I can't believe what time it is. 20 to 10. Normally I'd be finished half an hour, 20 minutes ago. Everybody's asking, is Johanna on the mend? She is on the mend. She is doing a lot better. It was my mom. I looked after mom for 10 years and suddenly had complications. And you stayed with, well, Noel, first and foremost, then when I said she, I was referring to my mother. There you go. But in the acknowledgement for her to cross, that's where the thanks is coming in. Okay, no, but she's telling me to say thank you for the flowers. But I don't see roses. They aren't. I'm not a horticulturalist. I couldn't. I remember my mother telling me off because I saw this beautiful little pink flower, and to me it was a gorgeous little pink flower. It looked like a little daisy to me, and my mother said, "You idiot! That's a weed." I said, "Well, it's nice. It still looks nice." She goes, "It's a bloody weed," but she told me to say thank you for the flower or the flowers. Okay, she got them. Noel said, very accurate. Thank you so much for that. I'm doing a reset moving. Thank you so very much. Well, it's all the right things, Noel, and you're being helped with energy to make that happen. Okay. And it is going to work out. And I don't know what the connection is or where you're heading towards, but I can see water from wherever it is that's bringing you a lot of great feeling. Okay. I can see water. So either I'm looking at a lake or I'm looking at the ocean from wherever you are. Okay. All righty. Doug says, thank you, Paul. Cheers. You're welcome. Always. Please make sure you share the show. Breaks my heart, circumstances out of your hands. What a word. Nefarious acts. Wow. Thanks, Paul. I needed to hear that. I describe my mom as two sides of the same coin. The same could never be. You would never see the eye. Oh, very, very, very common. Very common. But I didn't know until literally in the last weeks and months of his life that The reason we couldn't get on is because we were so bloody alike, you know? But anyway, I loved him dearly. I still do. I was very proud of him. He uh, he worked for DeLorean. Yes, he worked and built the DeLorean Back to the Future car. Wow, very very proud. But hey, let's remember the good things. Remember the fun times. Remember the great things. Okay, because that brings you so much amazing energy. Okay. Elizabeth says, Paul, have you heard of the energy? Have you heard of the theory about going into the light? Right, I'll read that again because I'm dyslexic. All right. Paul, have you heard the theory about not going into the light because it's a trap into reincarnation? No, and that's not a good theory, and it's total BS. So don't worry about it. It doesn't work like that. Right, first and foremost, you don't get trapped into reincarnation, you choose it. Okay? You don't have, when you go over to the other side, they don't go, right, get into that queue, you're going in that queue and you're going to come into that. That's not how it works. You the lives, each life, okay, there are 7 levels that we have to achieve. 7. Okay? And that's where the name Seventh Heaven came from. Okay? So you come into the first life, so you're a new soul. You could be on level 1 50 to 100 times before you have amassed enough knowledge of the reality of where you're going as a soul and life before you progress up to level 2. You could be at level 2 twice, just twice, and then move up to level 3. You could be in level 3 500 times before you move up to level 4. Now, if you've met children and you've heard that all saying, oh my God, they've been here before. Yes, that's how it works. Okay. But there's no trap into reincarnation. You choose it. Yes, Stephen Hawking chose what was going to happen to him because he had to learn what was going to happen to him. He learned whatever it is that he learned, the lessons that he learned. But don't forget the lessons he learned in having to work with a disabled body of such magnitude. But equally, look what he left behind. So people too, they always think about Stephen Hawking as the mechanical speaking cripple. No, look what he was capable of. Look what he left behind, and look at that spiritual stamp that he's left on the world. So he wasn't trapped into that. He chose it. Now, here's the great thing to all the moms in the world. Your children choose you. How cool is that? They choose us as parents. So Rosie, Brandon, Maddie, Maya, thank you. Thank you for choosing me as your dad. You've made my life magnificent. Thank you. Okay. I am so very, very proud of all of my children, no matter what. Okay. I love them with so much reverence, I can't even explain it. So I thank them for choosing me as being their dad because they have taught me so much about life as well. Okay. So I have sat and chatted to 7 and 8-year-olds who have far more intelligence than most adults that I've sat with. Okay. Because they've been in here so often, there is an acknowledgement to their knowledge that's beyond that of our thinking of here now. Okay. The more that I take people into seminars, when I take people in seminars, they learn so much more. Okay. They come out of the seminar with a complete different perspective on life. I've sat with astronauts, yes, actual astronauts, who have told me that everybody who goes up comes back down with a completely different perspective. Because when they're outside the Earth, and back in the days in the space shuttle, they're able to look at the Earth as, why is everybody arguing and fighting and trying to blow each other up and all that bollocks? When we're all on this spaceship, this beautiful blue spaceship, in this vast universe, and we're spinning on this spaceship together as one. Okay, we're all here together. We're all spinning together, and the sooner people learn that concept, the quicker this will get on. That's why I'm a big believer that the government should shut the hell up and let the other visitors from other worlds let us know that we're not alone, because we then stop the petty crap that goes on here and get on with being one human race instead of individuals. But no, you're not. Not going into the light isn't a trap. That's not how it works. When you're in the light, when you go home, you then the sort of knowledge you've amassed in this life. So when I go home this time, all of the knowledge that I've amassed and all of the things that I've done, all of the things that I've taught, all of the souls that I've helped, all that energy is then amassed back up to a thing called the Akashic records. Okay, so it's the betterment of my soul. So my soul continues to learn constantly, even after this physical life. I will most likely choose another physical life to keep going. I can't wait to become so when you get up to the 7th level, by the way, I didn't finish that part of the conversation. When you get to the top and you finish the 7th level, that is when you get the opportunity to become a guide. Hence the name, guide. A guide is a person who's lived many, many, many hundreds of lifetimes. And I can guarantee you they were never trapped. Okay, Elizabeth, but that's a brilliant question, and thank you for it. Folks, we're at the end of it. I've done a 2-hour show tonight. Wow. Paul, have a great night. Back to work. Love to all. Paul, please come back and see us again soon. Thank you so much for being here. I have come to the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen of the world. And I always sort of leave with it's important to acknowledge who you are, okay? Be proud of who you are and get on with making things happen for yourself, okay? Wendy says, this may be this may be my other grandparents, and yes, I will stick to my guns. Thank you so much. You're welcome, Wendy. It's important that you take time out every day just for yourselves, okay? Just switch the damn world off just for 15 minutes to start with, then half an hour, maybe 45 minutes, but switch the world off and give yourself a break. Turn off your cell phones, your mobile phones, turn off the house phone, switch off the TV, and just embrace the energy, the light, the love, the strength that's around you. Okay? If you have the opportunity to sit by a river or sit by the ocean, wow, the energy is amazing. All right? Give that a shot. Start with 15 minutes. Give yourself 15 minutes every day. Get yourself over to Patreon, which is coming across the bottom of your screens, as you can see right now, and sign up for that. I will be doing a seminar next week where I will take you on a journey that will blow your mind. I want to thank you so very much for being here tonight. I really, really do appreciate you. Don't forget, communicate, appreciate, and validate everybody in your life so a medium never has to do it for you. Okay? Take time out every day just for yourself. And remember, if you want to honor all of those who have crossed, and be the best you can be here and now. Thank you so much for being here. Please share the show, and please invite your friends and family to come and join us next week for Reach Across Life. Good night. God bless. Thank you for your time.